I'll share with you a story. Some of you may have heard it. I'm sorry if I repeat myself because I can't keep on making up new stories. But it's something very special for this place because a big part of it happened here. Actually, most of the story happened here in London. The story goes that I was here a few years ago, and there was a tzaddik, I don't know if I should say his name, in Stamford Hill, who asked me if I can come Friday night to daven in a besmedrish with boys that struggle. I forgot the name of the besmedrish. Ahavas Torah, okay. And he asked me if I can speak to them between Mincha and Kabul Shabbos. He told me 5 minutes. If you go over 5 minutes, they'll carry you out. You'll be gone. You won't know where you are. I'm telling you 5 minutes. Okay, I said, fine. It's not easy. Believe me, it's not easy to say something in 5 minutes. But I figured, listen, if this is Hashem wants, I'll try. So I came. I'm telling you, it was, Yiddish Kinder. No, they came in one after the other, all different shapes and sizes and looks. And they came in all smoking and drinking and this. And all of a sudden, the Barditsche wordt gemacht matammen van ons Shabbos. All of a sudden, one boy screamed, "Sedishkia!" And they all dropped their cigarettes. And unbelievable. And then they davened mincha and the gedoidi, and they were singing beautiful. What moedig. The neshama. And then I had a chance to speak. So what are you going to say in 5 minutes? I'll tell you what I said in 5 minutes, but I'm going to say it in 2 minutes. I told them that the Dibna Maggid says that once a king wanted to build a castle, so very expensive stones, extremely expensive. So he brought the stones in from the other end of the world. Every stone costs a fortune. So he had the architect gave him an exact number, how many bricks you need for this castle, and this is exactly the amount of stones he brought in. They were so expensive. So they started building, and they were putting one up, they were going up, and then there was one of the stones had a chip on it, a little crack. So they didn't want to use it. But then they came to the final, to the spitz, the pyramid that's on top of the castle. There was only one stone left to put on. So they had to take that stone that has the cracks and the imperfections, and that was put on the top. So the Dibna Maggid says, Even mu'asi haboinim, the stone that the boinim, the builders, hoisu leroish penu. I told these boys, I don't know you, you don't know me, I'm just experiencing something. I don't know what's happening in Shemayim, but it's Friday night, there are thousands and thousands of bricks, stones coming up. I don't know if our davening here is not leroish penu. I know we're not perfect, but Hashem knows what it means for you to do what you're just doing. Good Shabbos. We want more. We want more. There was a protest. We want more. I said, you're going to be in trouble. We want more. Do I have a time limit? No, I can go on. Okay, I was hoping for that. So I took off my shtramel and said, let's get to work. And I went on for a few more minutes. I didn't want to overdo it. And we finished davening. After davening, a group of a few boys came over, and there were like 5 or 6 of them, and they said, do you mind talking to us? We have one to discuss. So we sat down. We spoke until around 2:30 in the morning. I missed my Shabbos Seder, but I don't regret that. It was my best Shabbos Seder in my life, I think. Also for my diet, I'm going to go into that. But, and I'll tell you one thing that I told them, which happened here. After my father passed away, he passed away Erev Pesach. So that sphere, a few weeks later, I was here in London for a week. And I was davening in one of the Medrushim here that I was given a umut to daven. And after one shachar, a Yid comes over to me, a Blanche al Kedoshim, and an older person, and he asked me, are you by any chance a son of Rebbe Zri? I said, you davening? I said, yes. So he became emotional. He said, can I talk to you for a minute? Come outside. So I went outside, And he started crying, and I want to tell you something, what happened to me with your father. Going back, this is now almost 39 years ago, but going back 32 years ago, I was a young man. A year after my chasana, I was 21 years old. I already had a child. I'm going to use his words. I was a memtes sharatima. There was not an avaida in the Torah that I didn't do. And it came to a point that I could not control myself. I couldn't. I was an addict, the worst of the worst. I couldn't. No one knew about this. I had one roof who I trusted, Rav Pader, and I told him my issues, and he told me to go to speak to. I went to therapists, I went to babas, I tried everything. Nothing worked. And I cried every night. Rebbeinu Shalom, it's not fair what you're doing to me. I really don't want to be bad. Beter, don't give me back my neshama in the morning. It's not fair, I'm going to sin again. But Hashem did not listen to me. And this was going on for years, I was struggling. Then one Shabbos afternoon, after Shachris, the roof, Rav Pader comes, I went to say Shabbos, Rav Pader tells me, "Zdu ayidu in Shtut, Hasser Bezriel Tauber from Muncie. He's here for a family simcha. Maybe you want to go over to speak to him." He had titne, maybe he can help you. So he said, okay, and he found out where he was staying. Our uncle, Reb Cheskel Heinig, Zachrein Levruche. And he found him, and he went over, and he knocks on the door, and he tells my father, "Look, my name is so-and-so." He told him his story. I did everything. And then he said, "Look, I'm no longer a human being. I'm a dog. I'm a cat. I can't control myself. Was will der Eibishter für mich?" So your father tells me, "Look, everybody tried. Everybody gave you instructions and aitzes. It didn't work. I don't know what I can tell you. I want to tell you one thing. Every country has an army, right? In the army that still exists today, every army has many different divisions. They have the navies and the SEALs and this, all different divisions. They have cooks and cleaners and mechanics and all different divisions in the army. Every division has their own orchestra, their own musical band that they play. And once in a few years, they do a competition where they'll get up on the stage and every division shows off their beautiful, how they sing, their whatever, and they get a trophy. So once there was a competition going on and all the generals and the prime minister of the country, the president was sitting, everyone was watching, one after the other, moiridik. Then the last group, the lowest soldiers, the cleaners, the janitors, they're also part of the army. They came on, they're going to perform now. And the curtain opens up, and it's an empty stage. No one is there. And the conductor stands there, just one person with his stick. And all of a sudden, on the right side, the door opens, and 20 dogs walk in. And they all take positions. And then on the left side, 20 cats come in. 20 dogs, 20 cats, and he goes like this. And all the dogs with their voices, every dog has a different voice. And every cat has a different meow. And they're starting to sing the national anthem. The dogs and the cats were singing. And everybody went crazy. It can't be. This is magic. And they were looking, the dogs and the cats are singing the national anthem. The president was watching this. He said, "This can't be real." He ran off stage from his place and ran onto the stage between the cats and the dogs, like touching, is this real or am I seeing, is this a daydream? To make sure that it's real. And obviously they won. But when it came to voting, everyone was looking for the president. Where is he? He needs to do the final vote. And then he's been the cats and the dogs. That's where he is, enjoying it. My father told us, seeing a man, "You told me you feel like you're a cat, you're a dog. I can't argue with that. If this is how you feel, what I'm going to tell you, if you feel that way. But I can tell you one thing. The next time you are in that dark place that you're in, when you feel the dog and the cat in you, take that moment, sing the national anthem, say Shema Yisrael while you feel so broken. Hashem is going to leave everything. He's going to listen to you. No one does that. This is a place of yichud that you have with Hashem that no one else can have. You make use of the opportunity. Use it. And he told him this is the whole pshat in Kesher. We say, Kesher yitni lechu Hashem elekaini. We give a crown to Hashem. The Maluchim, all the Maluchim give a crown to Hashem. In Amchu Yisruel, Kvitzai Matu. The Yidden that are Nebuch Matu, really down. They also give a Kesher to Hashem. And where does Hashem go? Mimkoimo hi yifem barachim av la'amoy. The Maluchim are looking for Hashem. Ayem mekoim kavoidoi. Where is he? Mimkoimo hi yifem barachim av la'amoy. This is where Hashem goes. There's no bigger nachas riach to Hashem. When a child who is struggling in such a deep way and finds Hashem in that moment, a child who is so disconnected, a dog and a cat, he all of a sudden wants to put on tefillin, all of a sudden wants matzah. You all know these stories. Out of the blue, they're finding Hashem in such a deep place that makes no sense. And I was telling this to the boys. By the way, this Yid that told me this story, he said, then this was on Shabbos afternoon when your father told me this. Motzei Shabbos, I was back in that dark place. I couldn't hold it. Then all of a sudden, like a flash, I remembered what your father told me. I completely forgot about it. I was a dog and a cat again. And all of a sudden Hashem helped me and I felt it. And I stood up and I screamed Shema Yisrael. I don't know where he was, but definitely not in the Besmedish. And he screamed Shema Yisrael, and he says, everybody got frightened. What codes? What is he saying? And I ran out, and it was the last time I was there. That was it. It changed me. I found Hashem in a place that I've never felt before. So deep. In a place of pain. And I told this story Friday night to these Bucherim. And then we finished. I left, and I went to Division at Tzitish. I figured that I'll find Lechem Mission over there. I didn't ever see this. So I went, Baruch Hashem, the Rebbe knows me, and I told him that I got what I needed. Baruch Hashem, that's what I needed. I had my Seder Shabbos quiet, and then I went back to my 11-star hotel. I'm sure you know about it. Today it's Park Avenue, I think. It used to be called Kadima. I call it 11 stars because they're the only star. If you look out of the window, you see hopefully some stars in the Himmel. But anyway, I got back to that place and I couldn't sleep. I'll tell you, I was shaken to the core from these boys. I just told you one little part. What they told me, these Yiddish and Neshomas, they're so pure. And I couldn't sleep, so it was like 6 in the morning, Shabbos in the free. I was in the front lobby, whoever knows the place, drinking coffee, sitting there, and there's big glass doors to the street. And all of a sudden, I see someone sitting on the steps with his back to me. He was sitting with long hair and a couple. So the door is locked. So I went outside and to see who it is, and I see this. It's one of the boys that I just met a few hours ago in Swedish. And he was red eyes, ausgeweint. And he sees me, he says, wow, I didn't expect you so early. So I told him, I'm going through what you're going through at the moment. He came in and he told me, after we finished, I went with my friends, we chilled. He went, but all of a sudden, wherever we were, I remembered what he told me, that story, and I did the same thing. I said, Shema Yisrael. I didn't scream like that person, but I said it. I took everything out of my pocket. Shabbos mikze betun strugen. I took everything out. I left it. I walked 45 minutes to come back. Here I am. I don't know what's going to be. He was crying. And we drank coffee and then went to Shiel. I'm still in touch with him. What a transformation. Sometimes to find ourselves, so many times, why is this relevant to us? So many times, we as parents, we have to go with our children who are struggling to a place that is extremely painful, a place where we don't belong, because this is the roots in Hashem now, in order to save them.